In May of 2024, BHVR announced the roadmap for the 9th year, which revealed that we would get 4 licensed chapters before the next anniversary, as well as 2 original chapters. Now that we know that 3 of the 4 licenses were Dungeons & Dragons, Tomb Raider, and Castlevania, that only leaves 1 mysterious license for us to speculate on. So, what is it? First of all, let's take a look at all the official information we know about this chapter. The first one and most obvious is that this is a licensed chapter that does not come with a map or a survivor, and it's only a killer exclusive chapter, just like Leatherface, Chucky or Ghostface. This single fact already takes out various licenses out of the way, like Dead Space, Dead Rising, Scooby-Doo and the likes, where the survivors are the stars of the show, and not the killers. The second fact we know of is the official survey BHVR does every couple of months to see the interest of the community regarding certain licenses, which released on September 18th. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read the entries. The last survey they did, for example, included Dungeons & Dragons, Castlevania, Tomb Raider, Alan Wake, and Alien. So while these surveys do not tell the whole picture of licenses to come to DBD because Child's Play was missing, for example, it still shows that these licenses are something BHVR is taking into account. We already know that Junji Ito is going to be part of DBD, and this license has appeared on the survey. And the final fact, and the most important fact we know of, was revealed as part of TheKing's yearly interviews with Mathieu Cote, the game's director, where he was asked about the March chapter. I will show a snippet of the interview here, but I highly recommend checking out the entire interview, which I will leave a link in the description. On this one, Mathieu stated the next 2 facts.
Yeah, and being able to, yeah, that's it, right? Killers that can be more versatile and have different ways to play is... Yeah. No, but the next one is, it's not that, but it's really gonna be. Hopefully it's gonna impress, because I mean, I'm very impressed when I see what we've done. I think it's gonna, like, some people are gonna bitch, like as usual, but it's gonna create some really interesting conversation, for sure.
As you can see, Mathieu has stated 2 very important details about the newest chapter. The first one is that in terms of power, the killer's power is not technically impressive like with Vecna or Dracula, where it's a complex power with various uses. The second and most important detail is that Mathieu himself stated that people will bitch about it, and it will lead to interesting conversations. Now, who would talk about their license like this? In my opinion, this truly means that the next chapter is going to be something that many did not expect and possibly not want at all. Immediately, the first things that come to my mind is either a license that is not horror focused, like Dungeons & Dragons or Tomb Raider, a license that is aimed for children, or an anime license. The next part of the video is going to be related with speculation and potential leaks. If you only wanted the official facts, I recommend leaving the video now, but if you're staying here, then let's talk about the reason why many of the rumors say that the March chapter is going to be Tokyo Ghoul. Previously, thanks to the mysterious user Gumpy, we knew all the licenses coming to the game till Castlevania, after which we didn't know anything. However, even then, some people who claim to be insiders started to speculate and reveal stuff that was potentially the March chapter. Out of the names thrown, The Grudge, Jurassic Park, and Slenderman were the most popular. However, out of all the fake leaks and rumors, one of them turned out to be real. An image showcasing one of the cosmetics for the Houndmaster circulated around the webs, showing that one of the people was actually the real deal. And that's when, weeks before the PTB for the Cursed Doom chapter, a mysterious person contacted the DBD League's Discord in order to say that the new killer's name was going to be the Houndmaster instead of the speculated name, the Hellion. This same person also correctly predicted that Wesker would get a cooldown buff to his power on that same patch. What is also important is that by this time, the rumors of the next chapter being The Grudge were at an all-time high, and a false leak also happened where they said the anime collaboration coming to DVD soon was going to be Perfect Blue. However, as we know now, this anime collab is Junji Ito, so that's another point of credibility towards the leaker who said that the anime collab was not going to be Perfect Blue. This person, who correctly predicted 3 things with full confidence, said that the March chapter is going to be Tokyo Ghoul. Another person from a Rocket League / Fortnite server claimed to be a playtester, saying that they actually playtested the new killer and know their power design. According to this person that appeared out of nowhere, all references to any IP were removed, so this killer was called in-game as Killer 39 with a model of the Legion without the mask. This killer had a power to pull himself towards survivors with the use of tentacles, and it also had a sickness mechanic similar to the Resident Evil characters, but this mechanic was not implemented correctly yet. According to them, there was also a PowerPoint which stated that the killer's name was going to be the Mutant. We know that BHVR uses other killers' characters to playtest their power, like it was the case with the Deathslinger, as a behind the scenes video showed that in test builds it was a trapper with a cowboy hat. We also know that the names of the killers could be just temporal, so the Mutant might not be the next character. For example, according to the game files, the Dark Lord was originally called the Shapeshift. But one of the things here does not make that much sense for Tokyo Ghoul fans, and that is the infection mechanic. This is why some people actually started to speculate that the real killer is not Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, but rather the Night Hunter from Dying Light. For those of you unaware of the Dying Light game, the Night Hunter is a special playable zombie exclusive to the multiplayer mode, Beat the Zombie. This creature could use tentacles that sprout out of its body to attack the players from a distance, doing exactly what the power of the playtest killer apparently did. And for the infection rate, well, he is a zombie after all. But what about the mutant part? Well, just like the Nemesis on DVD, the Night Hunter can also mutate through the match that unlock new skills for him, so the Mutant would be a fitting name for the playtest version. And outside of these leaks, BHVR has interacted with Dying Light in the past. There have been bundles where both games were sold together, and also in 2019, both Twitter accounts interacted with each other. However, this license has various problems with it. The first issue is the fact that Crane, the protagonist of Dying Light, needs to be a survivor in DBD. In fact, it can be argued that the survivor is significantly more important than the killers in the game, as he would perfectly fit in-game with perks like Finesse or Balanced Landing. In fact, talking about killers, the Night Hunter is not as iconic as a Volatile. It would be like adding the Abstract Daddy instead of Pyramid Head as the killer from the Silent Hill chapter. And finally, why would people bitch, according to Mathieu Cote? Dying Light is a really great horror game, and I am sure many fans would love to have it included in DBD. The only bitching that would happen is because if this is indeed the March chapter, not having a survivor is really bad. And how does this correlate with the Tokyo Ghoul leak? In fact, is there any reason outside of this mysterious leaker that the March chapter could be Tokyo Ghoul? Well, surprisingly, there is a lot of evidence that shows the possibility that Ken Kaneki is indeed the killer coming on the next license. So the first piece of evidence, the only one that is official and is actually very good timing, is the fact that it is the 10th anniversary of Tokyo Ghoul, and currently they have various announcements to be done that will be revealed sometime around January. Timing wise, if there was to be a Tokyo Ghoul chapter in Dead by Daylight, March would be the second best time aside from December. And this is still an ongoing event, so there is a possibility that a collaboration is announced. Resident Evil and Ringu were both announced 3 months before the actual release, and even if nothing is announced on this event, this still doesn't invalidate the fact that it could be Tokyo Ghoul for March, as nothing was announced for Dead by Daylight on Alien Day last year. yet we still got the Xenomorph into the game. But perhaps the most interesting evidence behind it being Tokyo Ghoul is actually found in Dead by Daylight itself, and it's all part of the Greenville Square map. This all started like a complete schizo rumor, but now that we are so close to March and we know more information about it, the coincidences are very strong. As you may know, the Greenville Square map was created with a lot of interesting details as part of the cinema. The devs themselves have said that this map contained a lot of details and hints about other things related to DVD, and one of them turned out to be Murder Mill, a movie connected with the casting of Frank Stone. But was this the only hint towards future content? Well, if you take a look at the arcade machines in the map, you will see various designs on them. At first, the designs were just that, designs referencing various classic video games. But let's take a look at each of them individually. One of the arcade machines has two fighters going after each other, which seems to be a parody of Street Fighter. However, many players noticed that the fighters look like the Castlevania characters, Richter and Simon Belmont. And well, we did get a Castlevania chapter. Another machine has a fantasy design with a red dragon all over it. Well, Dungeons and Dragons happened, and in fact soon in January a new Chaos Shuffle event will happen, and various of the rewards have to do with a red dragon. And if you thought that was all coincidences, how many do you need? Because the last cabinet contains a pirate, and guess what we got recently? A pirate killer. This all leads to this. Outside of the theater, if you take a look at the left side of the movies, you can see that America Heritage presents The Ghoul's Lament. If the devs did this all intentionally, then that means that all of the Year 9 killers were hinted at before their release, and it would make sense, as we know the devs prepared their DLC ages in advance, playing 5 chess all in front of our faces. And well, if none of those convinced you, then I doubt this last one will, but I still thought that it would be a really interesting rumor to talk about. On the DVD Leaks subreddit, a user by the name of Insanity Major suggested a really interesting theory that also fits that username, and it's related with the Unknown's voice lines that it does on the lobby. A lot of them make basically no sense, and are really weird, which is fitting for the killer and is the reason why nobody thought anything about it.
A little laughter, a little tear.
But there are some voice lines that actually could have been hints to the chapters all along. One of them is the Unknown saying this.
I lived in dungeons long forgotten.
Which could be a reference to the Dungeons and Dragons chapter. Then we have another one which says,
Prepare for the expedition.
which could be a reference to Lara Croft and her expeditions, another survivor added after the Unknown. And finally, we have this next voice line.
Hunger, intolerant, hunger.
Which fits the entire history of Tokyo Ghoul pretty well. So, do you think these voice lines have any weight on them? Has any of the rumors and evidence convinced you that there is a high chance that Tokyo Ghoul will be the chapter coming in March? Well, only time will tell, as this video could age like milk or like wine, and it's been a while since we had this much mystery behind the licensed chapter. Please let me know in the comments what crazy theories you have behind the licensed killer. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day!